First, let me introduce myself. My name is Egorov. I'm Global Head of Sales at Tools for Brokers. And I joined the company 7 years ago when we had just one office and about 15 employees there. Today, it's the company with 4 offices in 4 different countries in Cyprus, Singapore, UK, and Georgia, having more than 100 employees around the world. So the company changed dramatically. And if 7 years ago, most of the companies knew us as the plugins provider. At the same time, we had Bridge, we had money management solution, but that's how most of the people knew us. Today, Tools for Brokers is one of the leading Bridge providers in the market, with volumes in the top 3 among the Bridge providers in the market. And today we help brokers, prop trading firms, hedge funds, and liquidity providers to execute their trades faster, to cut their costs with our risk management technology, and to make more money, to attract more customers using our tools for copy trading, for money management. Today, we'll talk a lot about the fear of change, because that's what we hear quite often from our clients, especially those who use some solutions like the Bridge or copy trading or money management. It doesn't really matter. It's always hard to change something. And even now in real life, it's always hard to change something you get used to, like your phone, car, fridge, home. If you ever moved to the new apartments or house, you know what kind of stress it is. To pack all your stuff into boxes, find some car to deliver to the new apartments, unpack them, reassemble the furniture, connect all electronic devices, put all your stuff into shelves, finally clean whole apartments and promise yourself that you will never ever move again. If it's familiar for you, then you know what I'm talking about. If it's too scary, why people still move to new places? Why they still look for new houses? Well, of course, the place where we live is something very essential. But let's be honest, even if something bothered us at home, like noisy neighbors, electricity problems, if it's too far from school or there is too much traffic, we're ready to deal with all these little issues just to not go through all these circles of this relocation hell to the new place. But what if someone could take care of all these relocation hassles? What if you find an apartment where you can try to live for a few weeks to understand the difference, know your potential neighbors, check how much time it will take to pick up your kids to school at rush hour, invite your friends to test the swimming pool, to have some drinks, and to ask their opinion? What if someone can help you to pack all your stuff into boxes, and if you would have a few weeks to move to the new apartments without any rush and any extra charges? Do you still think that the relocation is too stressful and it's too hard to implement? We know how hard and stressful the migrations might be. We performed lots of them, hundreds of migrations. And we know how much resources they might require from the brokerage side. That's why we designed the whole process for migration in a way that will minimize discomfort for our clients. But before we discuss this process in more details, let's make sure that you have enough reasons to move. Do you know what's the most popular feedback we get from our prospects and clients on the first call or meeting? We hear that they're happy with their current Bridge provider. Yes, just like this. We are happy with our current Bridge provider. We are happy with our money management provider, whatever. I'm sure you told this phrase if you were choosing something and you get this sales manager asking you like, what are you looking for? So sometimes, yeah, we're happy with our phones, we're happy with our apartments, and we just don't pay attention to some little things. no doubts that your solution is the best. It's stable, it's convenient to use, your technical support is available 24/7, and there is nothing else you could dream about to improve. Or, well, it's actually a bit expensive. And if we ask a few more questions, we find out that technical support could be better. And sometimes the breach might be down for a couple of hours, but it's okay. We're happy with our breach provider. And quite often, we so get used to some minor issues that we don't even notice them until these small issues turn into disaster, when it becomes too late to move. And we know many brokers who didn't even know that it's possible to avoid discrepancies between different liquidities that might happen when you use the best price aggregation, or those brokers who didn't know that how much money they might lose on the swaps because of these discrepancies. Like these kind of issues, quite often we just put them somewhere away until it becomes really serious. And there are many companies who don't even have any backup solution. Some of the prime brokers think it's okay to pay for every maker and taker connection. And I saw the list of attendees. I know that there are a few of liquidity providers on this webinar as well. So these people know what I'm talking about. And until the moment when these liquidity providers and prime brokers become so big that they have hundreds of different connectors, it becomes almost impossible for them to move or change anything to optimize their costs. But at the same time, they might pay 100+ K a month for these connectors. So quite often, this happiness with our current provider just means that we get used to some issues that we have with our current solution, and it's normal. But let's have a look at other reasons why it makes sense to think about migration to other bridge, or sometimes just to have a backup option for some other types of the instruments or other types of the clients. But first, let's imagine the car of your dream. Okay, you imagine, you have it in your mind. How would it feel if you get this car of your dream, sign a contract, and then you realize that you are not allowed to drive it by yourself? Well, legally you own the car, but you didn't notice in the contract that you cannot turn left or right before you ask someone to approve your turn that you intend to do. Unfortunately, some of our clients got into the same situation with their bridge providers. So these providers, sometimes they control everything and require to approve every change they're going to make in their trading environment. Some of them even cannot test any alternative solution. Before they need to ask every time, excuse me, may add the ULP tested plugin, adjust the settings, whatever. So every change require confirmation from the provider side. We at Tools Brokers don't like limitations, and that's why we provide our clients with full control of their bridge and trading environment. So you can decide what software to use, how to use it, and when to restart it, to maintain it, so it will not affect your clients. There is no need to ask someone's approval if you want to change something. You also have an opportunity to create your private liquidity pools with your own liquidity providers, aggregation types, and so on. You can combine it as you need. And you get the full control of your system, so you decide on when to maintain it. So basically, it makes it possible to even provide 24/7 service to your clients. That is unfortunately not possible with some of the alternative solutions. It's not a secret how many things in the brokerage company depends on the breach. One of them is connection to liquidity, obviously. Fast price feeds, something essential for clients. Seamless trades execution, reporting, and all these things, they are very important for your clients to make sure that your system is stable enough that they can trust you and they can make and gain money with you. Breach is one of the core elements of every brokerage company, of every liquidity provider. And this element is usually quite deeply integrated into the infrastructure. So it's really not easy to change it. And we totally understand it. Some of the prime brokers, they don't even consider changing their breach, as they have lots of clients using the breach, the connections with their current software. So they have some expert advisors, they have some algo trading software that connected to their current breach. And just imagine that if they change the breach, if the liquidity provider changed the breach, it means that these clients need to reconnect, rebuild all their software to adapt it to the new software of the liquidity provider. But is this really true? Is there any way to avoid it? Well, that's true unless your breach can emulate the fixed API connectors as you had before. Is it possible? Yes. In Trade Processor, we implemented so-called fixed API emulators that allow you to basically imitate the connectors of the fixed API as you had on your previous breach. So it means that if you were using one of the major breach providers and you have hundreds of connectors for algo trading companies, for professional traders, for other retail clients who use fixed API, they will not need to redevelop their connectors. They can just connect to your new breach with new credentials, but the API will stay the same. So what's to do if you want to substitute your breach, but you realize that it's too risky journey to justify time and costs required to migrate? Well, at first place, it makes sense to check if alternative solution is compatible with your system. So you need to try it. You need to test it to understand if really there is sense to move, and at the same time to make sure that it's compatible with your trading environment. And that's why we provide free trial with an opportunity to deploy the system on your side and to test it with your environments. Once you're ready to move forwards, our engineers will analyze all the aspects of your current setup, of your current connectors to liquidity providers, your client environment, and prepare the detailed migration plan. So once the plan is approved, we can move to the next stage. It's the test migration. And once we complete the test migration and we are sure that the migration is successful, there are any issues, then we can move forwards to perform the real one, the real migration. And usually the whole process, it takes about 3-4 weeks, but sometimes it can be done in the faster, depending on the complexity of the setup. So the full way from the test, from the moments when you complete the test of your breach solution till the moment when you can migrate to the real migration, it can be even less than 1 month. And in this case, you don't even need to worry about any problems or issues for your clients, because in some cases, it's not even necessary to move everything. So you can just deploy the system. You can move some of the clients, start with the small bunch of the clients to give them an access to some new types of the instruments or some new markets. And let's talk about 5 reasons to know. At first place, why it makes sense to consider moving to another bridge. The first thing is that we provide the private bridge setup and aggregation pools. So it means that we set up every instance of our bridge on dedicated private servers to get the full control of your system that won't be shared with anyone else. That's you decide when to maintain, and you can provide 24/7 access for your clients. So there are no moments basically when the bridge might be unavailable for your clients because of some general maintenance hours. You keep your clients informed if you're planning to implement some updates, let's say. And at the same time, we can provide you also the 24/7 access to the markets and 24/7 support from our side. The second thing, and thanks to the architecture of our bridge, we can provide the fastest execution of your trades on the markets because we connect trading platforms directly to liquidity providers. There are no any black boxes in the middle, so-called aggregation pools that connect multiple liquidity providers and execute the trades with their own algorithms. Instead, you have the aggregation pools on your side. You fully control it. You know how you aggregate and how you send the trades to the LPs. And at the same time, you have the full control of it. So when you execute the trades, when the client clicks open the trades in the trading terminal, it will be sent straight to your liquidity provider. And the whole execution time will take less than 5 milliseconds. So of course, it depends on the hardware, on the servers, and how close your trading environment is to liquidity providers. But these are the test results that we got with several of our clients who connected to liquidity providers in major data centers. The next thing, it's the unlimited number of connectors. We don't like limitations, as you know, and that's why you can have unlimited number of connectors without any extra charges. So if you want to provide liquidity to hundreds of different brokers on the markets, if you want to have 10, 15, whatever number you need to get liquidity, so we will not charge you for these connectors. So the number of connectors is absolutely unlimited. The next thing, it's the ecosystem of solutions that we can provide. Because unlike from a few of our competitors in the markets, we have not only the bridge, but we have a whole ecosystem of different plugins and applications that surrounds the bridge. So these are the solutions like copy trading, risk management tools. So you can provide your clients with dynamic leverage, multi-IB structures, with different systems of credits and so on. So the system that can help you to automate the trading flows and the risk management in your company. And you don't need to worry about compatibility of these solutions with your bridge, because we make sure that all the solutions are compatible with the bridge. And in the meantime, we have more than 30 different solutions to automate your operations. And it's really hard to imagine how many things can be automated to save your time for something more important that's daily routine processes. Because we still sometimes face the clients who update the swaps in their trading platforms manually, or who update some, let's say, margins, some commissions manually. That takes a lot of time. So there are ways to make this process faster with solutions for automations. And the last but not least thing, it's the flexibility, which is quite important as well, because you can implement without your own ideas. And let's say if you want to provide something unique to the markets, you have some idea that no one else had on the markets, you can come to us, explain us your idea, and if it's really something important that can help you to bring more clients and make more money and provide some unique products, we can help you to implement. And in the most cases, we don't even charge for these custom developments, as long as this might be useful for someone else in the market as well. So these are the main things. And one of the things that's actually many clients love about TFD, but that I didn't mention yet, it's our 24/7 support that we provide in real time. So we provide it, we have Skype, we have email, we have messengers as well to support you, to support your clients, even if you want to provide a service 24/7. So it's quite important today when the crypto markets are so active and the demand for crypto is quite high as well. And let's speak about the next plan. So what we are planning to do with our solution in the nearest future. We are planning to add more connectors to tier 1 liquidity providers, such as banks, exchanges. We're planning to add more instrument types. So to support the biggest clients, the top clients that we have. Also, we are planning to add an opportunity to create your own instruments. So basically, you can combine multiple currency pairs or combine different stocks into the baskets to provide some people call this synthetic instruments. So you basically can create some unique products for the markets. And I already know there are a few companies who provide their own indices, their own instruments to the markets, and this is quite popular in the meantime. And the last thing, but this is very convenient and handy for the clients who provide liquidity. So for prime brokers, for liquidity providers, because we know how hard it is sometimes to onboard the new clients. And that in some cases it might take like 1-2 weeks to onboard the new clients, to issue the new fixed API session, to prepare the connectors for the new clients. With us, basically, as long as you have full control, it will be possible to just make a few clicks and create and share the fixed API session details with your clients right away. So these are our nearest plans. At the same time, we're planning to improve our system further, make it even more convenient, to improve the interface, make it more user-friendly. And also, we would be glad to hear your ideas on what are you missing in your bridge? What would you love to implement? Maybe you also face some kind of issues on the current markets. So we would be glad to hear these ideas to help you to implement them. And of course, we'd be glad to provide you with the free trial of our solution and free demonstration of our trade producer interface or any other solution that we discussed today. And now we are ready to answer a few questions. So if you have some questions, please feel free to share them in the Q&A chat. Yeah, we got first questions. Yeah, thank you for the question. So the question is, what data centers are the servers hosted in? The data centers, basically, we have hosting in different data centers. At first, there is an option that you can provide your own hosting. So we can set up, deploy the system on the server in your hosting, or we can provide you with the hosting in all the major locations, like in London, LD4, in New York, in Singapore, in Tokyo. So we have plenty of different locations, and it's up to you to decide where to host the solution. The next questions, what are TFB future features? Partially, I answered this question. Actually, let's move it to the previous slide so we can look at some of our next plans so far. So we are planning to add the new connections and new liquidity providers and new instrument types to create your own instruments. So basically, it's synthetic instruments. And also, we're planning to implement the interface that will make it possible to onboard the new clients for liquidity, providing liquidity in just a few clicks. So it will be possible to create a new session, share these fixed session details with your clients really fast. And at the same time, we keep improving our plugins and applications that you can connect as in additional modules to the trade producer. So our system is not limited by only the bridge. You can also connect some other solutions to attract more customers. Okay, the next question, is it possible to have the demo of the bridge setup and the functions? Of course, it's possible. We can provide with a pre-demo. First, usually we arrange the demo call, so we can show you how the system works, how to use it, how it can help you with the risk management. So just to understand also better your needs, because the system is quite big and the number of different functions is quite huge, but we prefer to first understand your needs, what you're looking for, and then we give you with access either to the system on our side, or in some cases, we also can deploy the system on your environment so you can test it with your solutions, with your trading platform. And in the meantime, our bridge also connected with all the major trading platforms like MT4, MT5, CTrader, MyTrader, ActTrader, and it has an opportunity also to integrate with any trading platform with a fixed API connection. And so if you want to test our bridge, please text us after this webinar to this email. So we'll be glad to arrange the demonstration for you and to provide you with the free demo. Another question is if it's possible to manage the positive and negative slippage. Well, there are different opportunities for risk management and also to understand how you exactly want to use the bridge, because trade producer allows to process not only A-book trades and to send them to liquidity, it allows also to maintain the market making pools with various risk management settings. So we have all the necessary functionality for this. And to understand better on how you want to work with it, how you want to apply these settings, we can arrange the call and to explain in more details how you can manage these risk management settings. Okay, do we have some other questions? Let's wait a few more seconds. Yeah, we've got one more question. Please explain more about spot trading and futures trading. We support connection to more than 100 different LPs, and usually it's just a matter of your liquidity provider. So if they support spot trading and futures trading, our bridge support it as well. And in the meantime, let's say we have a connection to Binance, they have different instrument types. So they have futures, they have spots, they have some analogs of CFDs, and basically it's just all the matter of the liquidity provider usually. It's not the limitation of the bridge itself. So if you want to provide spot stocks, we also have additional modules that can be connected to the system for dividends payouts and so on. And if you have some specific LPs in mind that you would like to connect for spots and futures trading, feel free to share them with us. So we'll check if we already have connections. And even if we don't have connection to some of the liquidity providers, it's possible to add it absolutely free of charge. We welcome the ideas to how to make our bridge better and more popular on the market. Okay, one more question. Do we have the copy trading functionality in our bridge? That's one of my favorite questions. And we have copy trading functionality, but not in our bridge. We have a separate plugin for copy trading that can be installed on your trading platform, because we prefer not to put all the additional functions that are not related to the trade execution directly into the bridge, just to make sure that it has the maximum performance, so to not overload the system with different modules, with different functionalities. So we have just the functionality those that are essential for trade execution. So let's say if you want to equip your kitchen, you would get a fridge, but I really have doubts if you would like to add a coffee machine, a mixer, blender, washing machine into the same gadget to have all the functions in one. So we prefer to not overload our solution, and basically we provide all the necessary additional functions as an extra modules. So these guarantee the stable work of our system. Hope that I answered the question. Okay, what do you offer in terms of compliance reporting, and do we have separate tools for that or integrations? Actually, yes. Recently, just I think a couple of weeks ago, we announced the partnership with MAP Platis, MAP FinTech for the regulatory reporting. So we do not provide reports ourselves, but we have the trade processor BI system that can be connected with your RegTech provider. So in the meantime, we have an integration with MAP FinTech, but if you are using other RegTech providers, we also can integrate with them. So basically, your RegTech provider can fetch all the necessary data directly from the trade processor BI database and provide you with the reports such as RTS reports, best execution. So any regulatory reports that needs some data about transactions, about the execution, and so on. What's our planning to implement, when our planning to implement corporate actions, dividends and TP? Actually, it's already implemented. For dividends, we have a separate plugin, it's a separate module. So we don't have it exactly in the bridge, but we have it as an extra model that can be connected to your trading platform, and that will take care of all the dividends and payouts. And the same for other corporate actions. Actually, right now we're working on really huge system that will take care of all the corporate actions, such as splits, such as dividends as well. So it will be a new solution that will take care of all the corporate actions for brokers. Thank you so much for this question. Do we have any other questions? Okay, cool. We have one left. Thank you. Waiting for the question. So the question is if we can add sounds to the monitoring section. So if there is a disconnection, it can generate loud sounds. Actually, we have the monitoring solution that's integrated into our trade producer system. And it has also the system of alerts that can send UN alerts by email, Telegram, and SMS so far. But if you need the alerts for with the sounds, I'm sure that's we also can implement it. And that's exactly about the flexibility that I mentioned before, that if you really need something, and if we think as well that's it's something essential and it would be really useful, we can add it. So if you would like to have these sounds alerts in your bridge, please text us after the webinar, and we'll be glad to discuss to understand how it's better for you to be implemented, to make sure that it works exactly like you expected. Thank you for the question. Okay, it seems that we don't have any more questions. And thank you so much for all the questions and for your attention. If you would like to have a presentation, a demonstration of our solution, please send us an email to sales@tsb.com. We'll be glad to arrange a call with you to understand your needs and to explain how our solution can help you to implement this, and to provide you with a free trial to try our solution in real. Thank you so much for your attention and have a great day.